Okay, I got 6 2x6s out here, and these are still, look how nice they are. Sometimes when you get them at the hardware store, at the lumber yard, some are heavier than others, meaning there's just more moisture in some than others. And so the very heaviest ones I left in the pile just to dry out a little bit, or to use for something else, because I have to manhandle these and get them up into that little column and stuff. So I want them a little bit easier to work with. And once they dry all the way, then they have a tendency to shrink just a little bit. Okay, so my first one, I'm checking my little note here, is 104 5/8. Okay, and before I start measuring, I know I'm going to go ahead and cut it out of this one here. And I just look and see you've got a little checking right here. Most boards have some checking like that. Look at this end over here. This is a really long one. Okay, so there's a couple things I could do. I could measure from that end. Okay, and then cut, because my 104 5/8 is going to be in here somewhere. And then this little piece, I won't have to deal with that check. I might use it as a block for something else. Maybe I can still use it for a block. Excuse me. Maybe I can still use it for a block from here to here and chop off some of that. But because I have so much for this, and I want the ends to be good, what I could have done was cut this off and then measure from here going that way. But see, that check doesn't go very far, so I'm gonna call that okay. And I'm gonna set you up right over here, and I'm gonna go ahead and measure that 104 5/8. and 5/8. Double check your measurements twice. Cut once. 104 and 5/8. And I'm going to put a number 1 on this one. Get my square out. And I just cut it up on my foot. This little battery operated saw works pretty good. 104 and 5/8. Now I can go ahead and cut all of them, or I can put my little bracket on. And let's just, I'm gonna set you down here, I guess over here. And I've got that bracket there, and I've got two kinds of screws here. See, these were my regular sheetrock screws, and I don't use 1-inch very often, but I got these because I need them in certain areas. But these, remember, these are the ones that are rust proof up to 10 years, it says. And so I'm going to use those. These are 1.25 inches. And so I'm not going to use these because these could possibly rust on exterior conditions. Okay, so I'm just going to use the rust proof ones, supposedly rust proof. And now see, I can hold it right like that, flush, because that one's going to go up. See how it has that ratchet on this? I like that. Kind of helps you sink it just a hair further. There. I can do all of my 2x6s like that after I get them cut. And I've got the one there. I'm going to mark one down at the bottom. Let's circle it, and now I'm done with the first one. Okay, and I can set that off to the side, and I can get ready for my next cut. 105 5/8 short is my next one, and that's short meaning just short of 10/16, which is 9/16, okay? 105 5/8 short. And so I'm going to look for my checks in the wood again, and it's going to be this end. I'm going to cut this piece off. See, that check goes all the way through, so I would never want to cut from this end, especially if I'm going to have some waste right here, right? Wouldn't make any sense to have this on the bottom. That's why I got the list too, because every once in a while I'll forget what the length is. 105 5/8 short. 105 5/8. Well, I gotta look at that, because I think I just told you. No, that's right. That's 9/16. If I really wanted to look at it, 105 and 9/16. And that's what it is. And lots of times you just have to be careful as you're measuring, because usually most people have to read the tape measure upside down. Okay, so you want to make sure that you've got 105 and a long half or a short 5/8, and not go in the opposite direction or something without realizing what you're doing. This is number 2. I'm going to put a 2 down here. Like I say, I normally don't do it this way, because where I'm working, I'm cutting and handing it to somebody else, and I don't have to generally mark anything. But because we're in that pit, I'm just going to do it this way. Get your foot out of the way. You know, that's how most construction workers, professionals cut wood. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, you're not supposed to cut off your foot. Oh, you're supposed to put that up on blocks, and you're supposed to clamp it down, and you're supposed to this, and you're supposed to that, and you're supposed to use 2 hands on the saw, and blah 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 blah. There's no way anyone is going to do that in the workplace. Okay? No way, no how. Sorry about that. It's just not going to happen. You can have security, all sorts of safety classes saying, well, you're supposed to do it a different way. Well, you know what? This is just life in the fast lane, and this is reality. And most construction workers, you call up any professional construction worker, and he will say, yep, that's how I cut it. That's how I cut it, same way. Same way. There's my number 2. And I could have started from 6 and then gone backwards as I'm cutting. So that number 1 is the very first one I pick up, but hey, whatever. It's okay. That one's got a mark on it back there, this next one, so I'm just going to flip this board around so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to look at my number 3. I'm just doing a little sequence here. 104 3/8 is number 3. 104 3/8. when you get all wood from the store, generally everything is pretty close to being square. That's just how they make things. Every once in a while you'll find something that's slightly off, but usually it's pretty close. Here's my little square I use. I forget my measurement. 104 3/8. Did you catch that? I'm actually right-handed, and so I'm going to hold my tape most of the time with my left hand. And so most of the time I'm walking by a piece of wood and I'm going this way because I want to always hang on to my tape measure and then mark with my right hand. Okay? But there are times where you can go up on this other side and use your right hand, but I'm not left-handed, so it's hard for me to take the pencil and mark it. So on something like this, I would have to set this here. There's a lock on the tape. Sometimes the tape will stay. There's a lock on it. I can lock it down. Then I can take my pencil out, hold it, mark it. Okay, so either way, but I find going this way is a lot easier. It's just I have to look at the numbers upside down.